Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. We are live on Rumble, live on Twitter, live on Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, X America News, carrying the Shannon Joy Show live every day on Twitter. We're live on YouTube, live on Substack, live on Facebook. And of course, you can get the Shannon Joy Show at your leisure, anytime, commercial free, on our podcast platforms. We're on every podcast platform. It is so amazing to be with all of you. We're so thankful for all of our platform partners. Inez Annie Cyrus is producing the show today. Annie, thank you so much for being with us. And I see that the live chat here on Rumble is already heating up. Of course, there is so much to talk about today. So let's get to it. First, an Audible. We are changing it up this weekend. I was talking, or this week, at the end of the week. I'm going to be flying to Salt Lake City, Utah tomorrow. After the live show, we are going to stand with Dr. Kirk Moore. I'm so thankful for the producers over at Died Suddenly who have spearheaded the promotion of what I believe the most important story in the United States of America today. I understand we are dealing with the flooding in the great state of Texas. We are dealing with massive betrayals from Donald Trump, the Republican Party, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino in the closure of the Jeffrey Epstein case, a case that has dominated headlines, primarily conservative headlines, for almost 10 years. All of a sudden, it's all over. And it is Donald Trump himself who is slamming closed that book, that chapter of the book. He got angry yesterday when he was questioned about it at a cabinet meeting on Capitol Hill. We have that video for you today, and we will take a look at it. However, we have a medical doctor, Dr. Kirk Moore, a father of two boys who have recently lost their mothers, being persecuted by the federal government, AG Pam Bondi, who is working at the pleasure of the president. He is the guy, the buck stops with Donald Trump. Pam Bondi has decided to pursue relentlessly and viciously 35 years in prison this medical doctor who saved lives during the dark days of COVID-19. Parents and citizens came to him desperate to avoid having to be injected with the experimental COVID shots. And Dr. Kirk Moore, taking no money, no payment whatsoever, voluntarily did that with their consent and gave them COVID vaccine cards so that they could get surgeries and keep their jobs and send their children to university or to public school. And he did that for thousands. He is a hero. He honored his Hippocratic oath. He honored the Nuremberg Doctrine. He honored so many of the tenets of an ethical and moral society. And he did that at no charge whatsoever. This case was started by Joe Biden. It's being continued by Donald Trump. And it is the worst case of political persecution of a medical doctor in the world. It goes to trial this week. They started on Monday. Ed Zoll of Died Suddenly has been there all week in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I made the decision yesterday to join him to try to drum up as much coverage of this case as humanly possible. We need every medical doctor, every medical freedom warrior, all of the doctors who stood up and were persecuted themselves in the dark days of COVID-19, those with big platforms to push this out, to stand with Dr. Moore, to make statements, to tweet and retweet and post and write on Substack. We need as many eyes and ears on this case as humanly possible, and there just aren't enough people out there. And so I made the decision to fly out tomorrow after the show. There's a good chance we'll be able to run the live Shannon Joy show on Friday from Salt Lake City, Utah. The producers of Died Suddenly have an amazing studio set up, and we will be able to witness what is happening in the courtroom. We are joining them in a big press conference on Friday. I will be speaking at that. And I want to invite as many of you as humanly possible to come to Salt Lake City, Utah. The flyer is on my Twitter page. Anyone in the medical freedom community, if you're a doctor out there and you have a platform and you want to stand with Dr. Kirk Moore, the invitation is open. And we want to see you. We want to hear from you. So please send this out to everyone you know. Again, the flyer is on my Twitter page. Annie, if you can grab that, maybe we can post the flyer throughout the Shannon Joy Show. And we're going to make sure that this case doesn't die in darkness, that the plight of Dr. Kirk Moore is not forgotten, and that we beat this prosecution, that we put so much political pressure on Pam Bondi and on Donald Trump that they can't ignore this, that they are shamed into dropping these charges. And if these charges pursue, shamed into pardoning Dr. Kirk Moore. He deserves a pardon. This is outrageous. On the heels of their protection racket, protecting pimps, pedophiles, pornographers, the likes of Jeffrey Epstein and the Johns that he and Ghislaine Maxwell serviced for so many years, all of them protected now today by this president, Donald Trump, his attorney general, Pam Bondi, and also the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. The response to this has been outrage. We are watching the wheels fall off of the MAGA machine as so many are outraged by the actions of this president. Isn't it amazing to consider the fact that they are protecting grotesque pimps, pedophiles, child rapists, and pornographers? They are protecting that class of politically connected billionaires while throwing under the bus and persecuting a simple medical doctor in the state of Utah who helped his patients. Unbelievable how this DOJ has been weaponized. And the worst part about this, for so many out there who believed in this president, who believed in the Republican Party or the Conservative Party or the MAGA movement, that it's your guys who are spearheading this prosecution, this persecution. Mind-boggling. It's absolutely wrong. And this is why we made the last minute decision to go and stand with Dr. Kirk Moore. I'm not sure that Highwire is covering this. I'm not sure that Children's Health Defense is really covering this. I'm not sure that some of the biggest names and platforms in the medical freedom community are even acknowledging this. We have statements from Dr. Peter McCullough. We have a statement from Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. Thank God. We have a statement from Naomi Wolf, but we need more. We need more coverage, more statements, and more eyes and ears on this case. And we're going to do what we can. I know this show, the Shannon Joy Show, we are small, but we are mighty. It is a small audience, but it is the right audience. And you guys know how to get things done and how to move that dial. And so we're going to try to do that over the next couple days with our friends over at Died Suddenly. Okay, so that's tomorrow. Most likely, we will be doing a live show from right here in the Finger Lakes region of New York State tomorrow. And then I'm going to hop on a plane. We're going to head out to Salt Lake City. And there's a good chance we'll be able to do that live show on Friday as well. But if we don't, just know that we will be providing content. We will be out there, and we're going to do what we can to save Dr. Moore. And he deserves saving. You saw the statement from his son yesterday. Unbelievable. It's a testament to Dr. Moore as a father and a man, what he's taught his boys. An amazing statement. And those boys need their father, okay? They already lost their mother. They need their father. So we're not going to let this happen. Let's go to the live chat. Oh, by the way, a little bit more housekeeping. Next week, we are going to be doing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday show here in the Shannon Joy Show. And then it's vacation for the Joy family. We're taking the whole family down to Virginia Beach for the USAV National Beach Volleyball Championship. Kids are playing, and that's how we vacation in the Joy family. So a little bit of work, a little bit of vacay. We're going to be gone Thursday, Friday, and then also Monday the next week. So this is our summer vacay. We're working on some guest hosts. We might be able to bring some guest hosts in. If you guys have any ideas or recommendations of people that you would like to see guest host the Shannon Joy Show, let me know. Just pop it right up in the live chat here on Rumble. Speaking of the live chat on Rumble, you guys look great today. We have Do Not Obey, very new face on the live chat. Great to see you. Diog99 is with us. Green Tea 369, so great to see you on the live chat. Guitar Lily, CJP Rumble, Jen Patton is with us as well. If you guys have a comment or a question, please remember in that live chat, put it in all caps. If it's in all caps, Annie can keep an eye on the live chat. She can pull that comment, and after the monologue, I can go back and read it or read the question or comment. If it isn't in all caps, I might not see it. We have from Green Tea 369, Shannon, maybe we could also make a petition for Dr. Moore that regular people could sign that you could deliver to local Utah news, etc. Would that help? A petition is an amazing way not only to gather support to, for Dr. Kirk Moore, but also to bring together groups of people who are like-minded and connect them via email lists. So I love that organizational element of list building and driving petitions. So if anyone wants to spearhead a petition, I would love to push that out. So I can do the marketing. If someone out there on the live chat wants to put together a public petition where you can gather email addresses and have those in a centralized location, I would absolutely promote that on all of my platforms. Here we also have M. Garth Hilton with us on the live chat. MAV 2022, in my humble opinion, there are only two issues in the world right now: geoengineering. Without clean air, HTO, and food, nothing else matters. Medical freedom. We determine what goes into our bodies. And yes, there is on the show notes today in my top headlines section, which is listed here in the show notes of the Rumble show and also on all my other platforms. I do have a Yahoo story, a news story, the Rainmaker CEO. This is a guy who was created by Palantir's Peter Thiel, another protege, very similar to J.D. Vance, a guy in his 20s who was all of a sudden a multimillionaire and the CEO of a major geoengineering cloud seeding corporation entitled Rainmaker. You saw him testify in Florida against some of their restrictions on cloud seeding and geoengineering. He is going to speak publicly about cloud seeding scrutiny over the Texas floods. We mentioned yesterday, there has been a lot of geoengineering happening in the skies over Texas preceding these horrifying floods. We're not going to be covering that just yet on the Shannon Joy Show. As I mentioned yesterday, we want to there are people still looking for their loved ones. The body count is still growing, and it is just a tragic situation in Florida. So we're going to wait for that to settle down. But I can assure you, in the coming weeks, we are going to be heavily scrutinizing geoengineering, cloud seeding, and solar radiation management. That is the dimming of the sun. We had Dane Wigington on the Shannon Joy Show just about 6 or 7 months ago. It's time to get him back on. We want more experts. And so MAB 2022, I see you. I see that issue, and we will certainly be looking into it. Guitar Lily, broadcast it live. Shannon, well, we're going to have a great team of producers in Salt Lake City, Utah. So if we can broadcast it live and get as much of that press conference up right here on the Shannon Joy Show and on all of my channels, we will do it. Okay. As you know, it's a small operation. And so we're always operating on shoestring budgets. In fact, thank you to the organizers and donors over in Salt Lake City who have very, very graciously paid for the expenses for me to come out there. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, this is a lean, mean, small operation. The Shannon Joy Show, completely independent. You know who our sponsors are. They are very, very evident on, the commercial breaks here in the Shannon Joy Show, but we don't have billionaire backers. I don't have a network underneath me. We don't have a team of producers and editors and clippers and marketers behind us. Most of the other big names that you see out there on social media, the influencers and these shows have like teams of people who make it happen every day. It's me, myself, and I, plus Annie, of course, who is amazing. I don't know what I would do without her, who produces the show every day. And I have a clipper as well and an uploader. But other than that, it's just us. So I'm really thankful that we were able to do this. And the more that you guys help support the Shannon Joy Show through patronizing our advertisers and even donating directly to theshannonjoy.com. That's theshannonjoy.com. That helps us to keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. And in that vein, let's talk about one of our sponsors, the folks over at Colonial Metals Group. As the economy continues to descend, the writing is on the wall. The profligate spending is continuing. The grift is continuing in Washington, D.C. They are continuing to absolutely crush the dollar. Inflation, as far as the eye can see. And yesterday, as we reported, the Trump administration will be introducing brand new tariff taxes to the American people. I assure you, the countries where those tariff taxes are imposed are not paying those tariff taxes. You are. We, the people of the United States of America, small businesses, small manufacturing companies, and the consumers are the ones who will eat those costs in the form of inflation for everything. They are crushing Main Street, just like Donald Trump crushed Main Street in the dark days of COVID lockdown. They're doing it again. And this is why the wheels are falling off the American economy. People know that something big is coming. This cannot persist. And so many Americans are beginning to back up their retirement with gold and silver. And you can do that through our friends over at Colonial Metals Group. This is a company that I trust. I've been working with Colonial Metals Group for well over a year, almost 2 years. I just set up my own Roth IRA retirement account, fully backed by gold and silver. You can roll an account over if you have an existing account, or you can start one brand new with the team over at Colonial Metals Group, which is what I have done. You can then set up monthly contributions. It's so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And I now have the peace of mind that my retirement savings are backed by physical gold and silver, kept in a depository. If I wanted to take a road trip down to Delaware, which is where my gold and silver is stored, that backs up my individual IRA, I can do so. It is so much peace of mind, and I really trust Colonial Metals Group for all of my metals needs, whether it's physical gold and silver in the safety deposit box or backing up my retirement with gold and silver. This is the company I trust. You can find out if you qualify for up to 7,500 in free, not 75,000, that would be a little much. 7,500 in free silver for those who qualify, but you have to go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. That is colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy in order to take advantage of that exclusive offer for this audience. Love the folks over at Colonial. I'm on the phone with them all the time for a variety of different things. And they love this audience. They love the Joy audience. They're super nice, super friendly, and they'll take great care of you guys. So you see the headlines today on the Shannon Joy Show. Trump explodes when asked about protecting the Epstein network and ties to Israeli intelligence agencies, Mossad. MAGA support crumbling as people are being blackpilled about Donald Trump and everything he said he stood for over the past 10 years. And it has been swift. I have lots of responses from conservative thinkers, medical freedom warriors to what has happened. But as you know, yesterday, reporters asked Trump in a cabinet meeting about the Bondi Memo. This is the infamous memo where Pam Bondi comes out and said, we did our investigation. And after 10 years of hyperbolic, doomsday scenario, reporting by conservative media, MAGA, after all of that, all of the speculation, all of the reporting on the child sex trafficking rings and Pizzagate and Jeffrey Epstein and Lolita Express and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, right? They never talk about Trump and his ties, right, on the right to the Epsteins. But I mean, this was a huge thing. It's for the children. We have to save the children. Well, Pam Bondi has slammed the door shut on any further investigation. Nothing to see here. No wrongdoing. Jeffrey Epstein had lots of child porn, but no little black book, no client lists, and no incriminating footage of Johns abusing young children used for blackmail purposes, which was the bigger, larger conspiracy theory about the Epstein network. Bigger than that really was the financial network. And Donald Trump has, I mean, unbelievable ties to the financial money laundering network that was put together by Jeffrey Epstein that he ran. And that is detailed in the amazing reporting of Whitney Webb, One Nation Under Blackmail, a two-part series, which I highly recommend if you want to know about what really is going on. We're going to have an expert tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show who has been covering the Epstein trial for over a decade. He's actually, I believe, from the left-leaning side of the aisle, but he knows everything. I cannot wait to welcome him into the Joy Virtual Studio tomorrow to investigate that further. But this Bondi Memo has rocked Trump's base of supporters. And his response to the questioning was quite explosive. The Epstein rug pull has enraged an already simmering MAGA base. And it is clear to me that the political winds are changing. They are setting us up, in my opinion, right? Trump's betrayals are breathtaking. Only a moron could look at what is happening. A complete moron with less than 2 brain cells could look at what is happening and not acknowledge that Trump is completely screwing his base in a million different ways. I have a list here that we'll go through. All right. So as the base becomes enraged, we are watching Elon Musk step into the void with the America Party. And the America Party is something that has to be heavily scrutinized for 2 reasons. Number one, there are billionaires behind the new America Party, which Aaron Day calls it the technocratic party. And I believe that he is right. As Trump recedes from the scene in an epic way with a massive betrayal agenda, this opens the door for one, the America Party led by Elon Musk, who is a technocrat, and 2, the emergence of J.D. Vance, the guy waiting in the wing, created by the technocracy, the technocrats, Peter Thiel. He was groomed and created by Peter Thiel to do the bidding of the technocratic oligarchs. As he steps forward to claim the party from Donald Trump recedes. He goes and takes his casinos, his private jet, all of his Bitcoin billions that he has amassed over the past 3 months through meme coins and meme schemes. That is the equivalent of billions of dollars. A pretty explosive piece from the New York Times shows that Trump has increased his Bitcoin wealth to the tune of billions of dollars over the past few months. So we could see, depending on how the base of MAGA reacts, right? We could see Trump receding from the scene, and then the two technocratic parties are set up. And that would be one run by Elon Musk and the other by Peter Thiel. Why is this dangerous? Well, Elon Musk, as you know, in the coup de Doge, it was under the guise of cutting spending and getting rid of inefficiencies in the federal government. Elon Musk went into the federal government with a team of technologists and cloud specialists. And in the Department of Treasury, the Department of HHS, the IRS, among other agencies, he went in and scooped up likely trillions of dollars worth of pristine, valuable data on every American businesses, tax receipts, IRS information, voter data, demographic data, everything that you would need to build a new party and get lists going immediately. It is worth so much. He also has Nicole Shanahan behind him and Mark Cuban behind him, billionaires. He has the data, he has the billions, and he now has the opportunity to present himself as the new face of the independent movement. Everything that we've been doing here on the Shannon Joy Show on a shoestring budget with no help whatsoever, no platforming whatsoever. You're seeing an independent movement of journalists grow out of our distaste and disdain for the 2-party political system, left-wing news media and right-wing news media. Well, now they see that, and it's time for them to co-opt that movement, move in with a PSYOP movement, which I believe is the America Party, and set up the new false paradigm, the Hegelian dialectic, the series of false choices, which gives us a lesser of two evils over and over and over until we are left with just plain evil. That's how I see this shaping up right now. And that's why this discussion is important. If people fall for this, well, we haven't really accomplished much over the past 5 years with this great awakening. We need to be awake to what they might be doing. Now, this is just my speculation, but it is based on the writing and the work of Aaron Day. Also, Catherine Austin Fitts, another video that we are going to show you today on the Shannon Joy Show, in addition to Trump's response, the hostile, vicious response to people asking about why he is letting go. He doesn't want to save the babies or the children anymore, doesn't want to expose the sex traffickers. It seems that the Con Inc. storyline of this is 12-dimensional chess isn't working. I have feedback from former MAGA that we're going to read to you today, detailing the outrage and the anger in the base at Donald Trump. The question is that base, the disaffected, disenfranchised MAGA Con Inc. base, will they be pushed into the arms of another lover in the name of Elon Musk? That is the question. That cannot happen. We have to be hip to this, awake to it, and realize that the technocracy is a bludgeon to our constitutional republic, to democracy, to consent of the governed, to rule by the people, our Bill of Rights, our natural rights, our God-given natural rights as laid out in our Constitution. All of that is obliterated if we get rule by experts, rule by the technocrat, the oligarchs who are tethered to the global resetters. Nothing has changed, guys. Everything that you feared during the Biden administration is still in place. Only it's being inflicted upon you by someone who you thought was your hero, Donald Trump. Well, the mask is coming down, and we're going to continue to expose it here on the Shannon Joy Show. Keep it tuned right here. We'll be back in a minute to continue this discussion. Colonial Metals Group, get your gold and silver strategy put together today. This is, again, nothing is changing. So what does that mean? It means that we are still in a situation here in the U.S. With the economy. It's like a train barreling down the track, set on fire, 90 miles an hour with a drunken conductor heading right off a cliff. Like, that's kind of where we are with this economy. And so, especially with the US dollar, our currency, they have taken this as far as they possibly can. Everyone understands this. And this is why gold is now tier 1 status. That's what Ed Dowd was talking about. Gold is money good, meaning you could buy a house with gold. We could see a situation, especially with Texas and Florida now adopting gold and silver as legal tender. That is the first step to their ability to establish a sovereign bank. You have saved your entire life. You're a retiree, and your money is wrapped up in a 401k, IRA, and it's the stock market or even federal government instruments. You have to consider physical gold and silver as a hedge. Doesn't mean you have to go in and go all in on it. It could be a portion, it could be a quarter, less than that, but everyone needs to be hedging right now with physical gold and silver, and also physical gold and silver backing up your retirement. As you guys know, Colonial Metals Group this company is amazing. I trust this company. I know all the primaries. We've been working with them for years, and they take amazing care of this audience. So you're going to want to go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy, colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. See if you qualify for $7,500 in free silver. This is an amazing company. They are not going to give you a pressure sell. They're not going to manipulate. They don't do fear selling in any capacity. They just give you all the information that you need and let you make the decision that is right for you and your family. So colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. The SAT123, the satellite phone store, and the amazing team over at this amazing website. It is everything that you need for preparation, everything that you need when the power goes out, when the storm comes, whether it's a generator to keep the power on, solar panels, a satellite phone. If we lose power and the towers go down and 5G, 4G, 3G, it's not working, These satellite phones are absolutely critical in getting in touch with loved ones, and they can actually be a blessing to an entire community. There's so many stories that Tina, the owner and founder of Satellite Phone Store tells about communities that have one satellite phone that was used to help hundreds of families redirect traffic, direct people to a safe a place or a place to escape a fire or a natural disaster. I mean, the stories are absolutely amazing. And not only can you protect your own family, but you can also be a blessing to your community when you are prepared. Please go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. That is my page. And the folks at Satellite Phone Store always have amazing deals for the Shannon Joy audience. 10% off with that promo code JOY. That's 10% off your entire purchase with the promo code JOY. Everything that you need when the lights go out. The Faraday collection, the satellite phones, the generators, you name it, they have it. And we're so thankful for everything that they do for this show. So sat123.com/joy.
That's the Attorney General question too, President.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein,
yes,
it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So he is chastising and yelling at reporters for asking about an issue that he himself has platformed for the past 10 years. He is the guy that said he was going to go after the sex traffickers. He was the guy who said that he was going to uncover, turn every stone over in order to get to the truth about the Epstein files. He was the guy. I mean, this was one of the central themes of his election in 2024, those binders, the rug pull when Pam Bondi brought all of those influencers up onto the steps of Capitol Hill and gave them empty binders. That was the first step. This is an absolute betrayal. And the fact that he is angry that anyone's talking about this. This is your doing. This is coming from your influencers, the influencers who have been paid to promote ad nauseum Donald Trump, MAGA, and the Trump administration at all costs, ignoring all of the lies, all of the betrayals throughout the past 10 years. And he has the audacity to now shame those of us who are like, you told us this was happening. Your people told us this was happening. The people that you put in office told us this was happening. Right? Once again, Donald Trump showing his true colors, that he always stands up for the pimps and the pedophiles. There was a great piece by Anomaly, Legendary Energy on Twitter, that detailed all of the ties between Donald Trump and pedophiles that he protects, or sex traffickers that he protects. The most recent, as you know, are the Tate brothers. The Tate pimps and pornographers enjoyed the protection racket from Donald Trump in an official capacity. Richard Grenell, his special presidential envoy, who went to Munich to advocate on behalf of the wanted pimps, pornographers, and sex traffickers that are under indictment in 3 countries with over 60 named victims. Okay? So this is happening in real time. This is not just in the past. Trump is continuing to protect this type of element. I see this from DG8, thank you, on the live chat. Shannon, Clinton operative and fundraiser Howard Lutnick, who is a special advisor to President Trump currently. In fact, I think he has an official capacity. I don't know why I'm blanking on this right now, but Howard Lutnick was Epstein's neighbor and good friend, and is now the Secretary of Commerce. what did you think would happen? It looks like Lutnick is one of Trump's handlers. I would not be surprised in the least if this was the case, and more people are beginning to question Trump, whether or not he even has agency. Is he just a front-facing reality TV, DC TV reality star, right? Who is playing the part of the president, but actually has no real power? Now, he knows what he's doing. I think he has some power, but he doesn't care. He's doing what he's told. And this is why so many people are leaving MAGA in droves. This is a piece from Tricia Hope. She was a national delegate out of Texas. Her Twitter handle is just the tweet 17, and I posted this out yesterday. This is what she wrote, and this is the sentiment that I'm seeing across the nation among conservatives, Republicans, people who supported or voted for President Trump, and even some of the die-hard MAGA supporters who are finally, thank you, Jesus, waking up to what I have been pointing out for the past 10 years. Is it too soon for me to say I told you so? Everything that I said the day he came down the golden escalator, the day he announced his bid for the presidency, his campaigning from the very beginning, I told you he was a Trojan horse. He was a dyed-in-the-wool New York City liberal Democrat who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years. They were best friends, according to Epstein himself in uncovered interviews. Okay? It was always there. That was always there. No one wanted to see it, though, because everyone wanted a hero. And Con Inc. failed you. Sean Hannity failed you. Rush Limbaugh failed you. Glenn Beck failed you. All of the major networks, Fox News, the people that you trusted, did not tell you the truth. And I was there, front row seat to all of it. Every betrayal, every lie that was told, every rug pull that happened. I was here, as you know, those of you who've been with me for 12 years, with all of you, telling you time and again, this is the discernible policy outcome. These are the words on the paper. These are the words on the bill. This is the executive order. This is what he's really doing. Don't listen to what he's saying. He's lying to you. They all lie. Democrats too. This is not going to ignore what the Democrats have done, what Obama has done, and what Biden has done. They're just as bad. But the false hope, the false light, the false hero, the false choice in the psyop that was Donald Trump and MAGA is now falling apart before our very eyes. And I am not happy to have to say I told you so. And I said for years, I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. Prove me right. Because I have kids. They need liberty. They need freedom. They need a future. They need our Constitution. I have skin in the game, as all of you do. We want justice. We want truth. We want sanity. We want common sense. We want rule of law. We want politicians and leaders who are not criminals and crooks, coerced and blackmailed. We want peace in this country. We want to pursue our livelihoods, pursue happiness, build houses, plant gardens, start little businesses, take care of our children. We want to be left alone. And they won't let us. They won't let us. It's relentless. Intrusion after intrusion. And then in 2020, the worst of them all, the injections, the forced, coerced injections brought to you by Donald Trump. And now it's in the air, the cloud seeding, the geoengineering. It's in our soil, our water. It's everywhere. New mRNA technologies, the technocracy. They're doubling, tripling down on this. It's not ending. This is why we have to wake up to this psyop, to the fake MAGA movement that so many people believed in. And I'm not saying the people who believed in it were fake. I'm saying it was always a lie. It was always a lie, and it was always there for us to see. And I think this is what Tricia Hope, national delegate for Texas, felt when she wrote this yesterday. I've been to 42 Trump rallies. After the first impeachment, I drove to DC and spent 2 weeks walking the halls of Congress to encourage Republicans to support President Trump. I sat in the hearings and I supported President Trump. I was there the night he was acquitted. After the 2020 election was stolen, I went to see 2,000 Mules. I was livid at the lack of action. I contacted Dinesh D'Souza and told them I wanted to deliver copies to Republican members of Congress. They donated 200 copies. I went with a team of 4 to DC and personally hand delivered each one. These are the people who made up the MAGA movement. These are the people who believed in the rhetoric of Donald Trump, who believed what Dinesh D'Souza told them. I have no beef with Tricia. I have no problem with people who had hope and who believed, because they lied to you. It's not Tricia's fault that they lied to her face. It's not Tricia's fault that they manipulated her. It is not Tricia's fault that they deceived in a breathtaking way. Okay? When it became clear, she said, that J6 was a setup, she started helping J6ers. She met with members of Congress on their behalf. I was able to get donations I get donations for 435 American Gulag Chronicle books to deliver to Congress. She and a team organized and delivered 535 copies to every single member of the House and the Senate. I worked for the last 3.5 years to help free J6ers. I organized Trump events. I became a state delegate and then a national delegate. I recently made a donation to the Smithsonian on behalf of the J6ers. I say all of this to tell you, says Tricia, I am done. The scales have fallen from her eyes. President Trump's lack of concern for the Epstein victims and his callous response to the reporter's question ends my relationship with him. I will not support a man who denies justice to the victims, who in this case are children, and even mocks those who question. And that was the response from Tricia Hope, former MAGA, former Trump supporter. Her handle is at JustTheTweets17. And this is the sentiment that I am seeing begin to populate many in the MAGA communities. And this, again, this betrayal, though, makes them vulnerable to the new next false hope, which I'm telling you today, mark my words, is going to be Elon Musk and JD Vance. That's how they're going to set this up. Because once the PSYOP ends, once people become hip to the game, hip to Trump and his betrayal and his deceit, and let me tell you, this was one of the most sophisticated operations I have seen in my life. 10 years I have reported on the MAGA PSYOP and the mass cult formation around Donald Trump, the idolatry and the worship of Trump as a hero. It is very similar to what we saw during COVID-19 and lockdowns, okay? They're going to do it again. The question is, how sticky will this be? So we're going to get some other responses. There are other responses from those within the conservative community that are, again, beginning to see what is going on here. Five times August, big medical freedom warrior, Brad Skistimus, who's been on this show multiple times, posted this out yesterday. So your COVID accountability amounted to nothing more than a one-page website, covid.gov, which went absolutely nowhere. But we do get a new Moderna COVID shot and an AI-generated mRNA soon, right? What a betrayal. Your Epstein files amounted to a 10-hour video missing a minute of a door. Then everyone's saying there's no list. He did kill himself and there's nothing else to look into in addition to the fake ass Bondi binders. Your JFK files amounted to 80,000 poorly Xerox papers, not a single new photo or video or audio, and told us nothing that we don't already know, says Brad Skistimus. Oh, and even though Mark Zuckerberg, who admitted numerous times to participating in election interference and mass censorship, was invited to the inauguration of President Donald Trump. And after all, and that, nothing ever happened to him. Okay? 5 times August went on to say this: we are being conditioned to let very bad people get away with unspeakable and horrific crimes, to accept it and ultimately forget about it. Do not forget it. Do not accept it, and do not let them get away with it. I don't care how long it takes. We will never give up. I will never give up. Okay? And that's the conditioning you saw with Donald Trump. After gaslighting you for 10 years about the Epstein files and the sex trafficking and the child sex trafficking and the jet logs and the client list and the little black book and all of the things, after 10 years, for him to get angry at you for demanding answers and asking questions, it's the ultimate gaslight. It is another abusive humiliation ritual where they are saying to us very clearly, you are ruled. You are slaves. We will manipulate you. We will harm you. We will inject you. We will lie to you. We will coerce you. We will steal your money. We will steal your property. We will devalue your dollar. We will take everything from you, including your republic, your constitution, your God-given freedoms. We're going to do it right in front of your face, and we're going to give you the middle finger while we do it to you. And then we're going to laugh at you behind your back for being such chumps. That's what they're doing. That's what the humiliation ritual is. It's what they do to slaves. And that's how they are mentally conditioning us and enslaving us in our minds. It is an abusive relationship based on fear and lies and deceit. And we need to stop it. Ed Dowd had this to say. Annie, quick note. We have a troll on the live chat. Satanic Femboy is attacking the live chat. If you wouldn't mind muting him, deleting him. Thank you, LT Oracle of Truth, for letting us know about that. We do have DG8. Shannon, what the cult fails to notice is that the client about the client list hasn't stopped doing horrible things, and they won't be stopped until they are brought to justice. It's important to arrest them and that convictions happen. I agree with you 100%. There are men in positions of great power who are high profile, who are senators and congressmen, presidents, judges, billionaires, oligarchs, who have abused young children. That is happening, I believe, firmly in this country and across the globe. And so we do need to continue to bring them to justice. And if that means we have to cycle through 3 or 4 fake ass presidents and fake movements in order to finally get to justice, well, then so be it. We can outlast them. I will outlast them with all of you. M. Garth Hilton, thank you for being with us. Proctor Surf, spot on, Shannon. It's a humiliation ritual, mass MK Ultra. It is based on fear. Notice the fear conditioning, right? Starting back with the traumatic events of September 11th, when they took the Twin Towers down and so many thousands perished. These are traumatic events, fear-based events, and it begins to set in motion a conditioning. Then you have the anthrax attack and fear of bioterrorism. Then you have the fear-mongering and the fear campaigns that were central in justifying the COVID lockdowns, the fascist military lockdowns of 2020, and then the infliction of the bioterror, the bioweapon, which was the COVID shots, mass murder in our hospitals, mass murder, democide committed by our own government against the American people, and it happened not only in the U.S. but across the globe. That is ritual fear or trauma-based fear conditioning. You are always afraid. You are constantly afraid. You are always in angst. When is the next shoe going to drop? Not just of the other political party, but it is a baseline sense of unease and anxiety and fear that has been built in, conditioned into our culture, Democrats and Republicans. It makes us vulnerable. It makes us susceptible. It makes us cling to false leaders who we think will save us, right? It's all there. And it is ritual, I believe. And I think they know what they're doing. The psychological propaganda is quite sophisticated when you understand how they can brainwash and control minds. And when you have mass media influencers and Americans who are dialed into screens on a regular basis for hours and hours a day, you can likely achieve really extraordinary results in controlling mindsets and shaping society and culture. We've seen this over the years, but I think we're looking at some of the most sophisticated propaganda, because they basically have databases on your each individual psychographic information. So they know how you think, they know what you like, what you don't like, they know who you voted for, they know if you're a mom or a dad, a sister, brother, constantly gathering data via social media to set up those profiles. Now, by the way, Elon Musk has even more because of the Doge, the coup de Doge that happened in the first 3 months of the Trump presidency. It's a battle for your mind. So our minds have to be strong. And the first step is to never, ever, ever be afraid. I can tell all of you, I sleep like a baby. I've made my peace with God. I love Jesus. There is never an ounce of fear in the Shannon Joy Show. I don't want you guys to fear either, right? They can do some pretty nasty things, but most of the things that they do, we have to voluntarily accept, right? It is much harder to shut down, lock down, and control 365 million Americans than they think and that we think. There's so much power that we have on the individual level, starting with your own emancipation, and then your connectedness to your local community, to people, to humans, people that you see every day, building those groups, bottom up resistance, unplugging from the left-wing media and the right-wing media and the fake-ass kabuki theater that they do on a daily basis, and trusting what you see with your own eyes, what you hear with your own ears, and the relationships that you're building, plugging into family, going analog when they want you to go digital, right? Artificial intelligence is artificial. It's fake. It's not real intelligence. It only happens if we, the humans, give up our information and give them the data, right? It is synthetic. The crypto and Bitcoin, this is not real wealth. This is not real money, okay? It is artificial. That should be your first clue on what to accept and what to reject. And that doesn't mean we don't like technology. It means that we, the humans, choose what we want. And we guard jealously our privacy at all costs. Those are the conversations that we need to have. We won't have them with these fake ass political parties. And I think you all know that. Nostradamus is with us on the live chat. Great to see you. Mary New is with us. She has something to say about the MAGA peeps. Sorry, but I do blame this on MAGA, who refused to grow up and insisted on cheering at Trump rallies. Life is not a spectator sports game. Well, there is some responsibility, Mary, but listen, I always give, for people who are waking up, people who are just coming to see some of the things that we have seen for so many years, I give them a lot of grace and a lot of room. And I say this because I only woke up about 12 years ago. And the only reason I woke up was because I had the blessing of having this job, right? Becoming a full-time broadcaster and observing politics and culture over many years. It was my job to pay attention and to test the words of the politicians against the discernible policy outcome. I did that for many, many years and trained myself for many, many years. But prior to that, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh every single day, Sean Hannity after that, Fox News in the evenings. I voted Republican my entire career. I was a conservative. I read all of the books. I believed all of the hype. I was afraid of Democrats, thought they were the evil party, but the Republicans were the ones that were going to save us. I believed the rhetoric. I put the Ted Cruz poster on my wall, which is why I still have it there to remind me of the last time that I was in a political cult ideology. And that's why I keep that Ted Cruz poster up there behind me, because all of us are vulnerable to this, myself included. And what kind of person would I be if I gave myself the grace to wake up at one point after observing and did not give the grace to other people? So many Americans are busy You are depending on Con Inc. You're depending on Fox News, news sources to tell you the truth. You have children, grandchildren, jobs, lives to live. No one has the time to do the shit that I do every day, right? I mean, I feel terribly for people out there in America trying to figure out what's going on. This is my job, and I have a hard enough time myself figuring out what the truth is. Okay. So we are up against very sophisticated, very evil, manipulative players who have billions. And the mind is a very vulnerable thing, especially when you are conditioned by fear. And so I hear what you're saying, Mary New. And I do think that there should be responsibility. Everyone should have a story, as their awakening. I think that what I read to you from Tricia Hope, it seemed like a very real awakening. And I say, welcome to the party. Jump in. The water is warm. You are emancipated. Let's go. And the more people that we can emancipate out of that two-party cult system, the better we are going to have, the better chance that we'll have as Americans to seize back our freedom, our Constitution, our liberty, our birthright, which is this republic, this constitutional republic. Okay? All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to go back to the live chat and have another conversation. If you guys want to put your comments in the live chat, all caps is the best way to do it. We're going to continue this discussion here on the Shannon Joy Show.
This is Don Polano with PCM Associates. There is a saying that says, a broken clock shows the correct time twice a day. This is not how you want to invest your long-term funds by being right for a short period of time. The Argentina market was the best performing market in 2024, up 117%. Does this make it a good investment today? Natural gas prices are up over 140% in the last 12 months. Are you being told to invest in this now? Thankfully, when practicing asset allocation for rate of return, you don't need to know the answer. This is because a portion of a diversified portfolio participates in this return along with income issues that provide cash flow and additional growth issues with liquidity. Don't chase returns. Participate in them with proper diversification. Investments are important for what you need for your objectives. We'll find those with you at PCM Associates. Call us at 800-536-1368 or visit pcmpolano.com.
I also love Native Path Complete Protein, also 41% off. Go to nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. Native Path Complete Protein /joy, 100% grass-fed beef protein, not whey, not soy, not plant-based, okay? They don't do that over at Native Path. Only the best for the Joy audience. This is to rebuild strength, maintain muscle support, a fast metabolism with absolutely no bloat whatsoever, because this is the cleanest product, the highest quality product, protein product you can get on the market. It is 110 calories, 20 grams packed with protein, and 0 sugar, dairy-free, no soy, no gluten. This is an amazing product. 41% off. Next week, we're going to feature some of the Joy family recipes. We use complete protein every day at my house. The kids love the chocolate flavor. Go to nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. That's nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy to get your exclusive 41% off discount. This is just for the Joy audience, but it is going to end soon. So make sure you go to that website today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. We have just about 20 minutes left in the show. Ed Zoll is on the ground in Salt Lake City. He's in the courtroom. He's going to be bringing a lot of information about what's going on with the case of Dr. Kirk Moore. He is the Utah physician who is being persecuted by the Trump administration via Pam Bondi and the DOJ for saving lives during COVID-19. He is facing 35 years in a federal prison. This, in my opinion, is the most important story in the world. And we are going to be heading out, as I mentioned, to Salt Lake City. I'm going to be hopping on a plane after tomorrow's show, and we're going to be there for a press conference with Dr. Kirk Moore to stand with him, his family, and his supporters as we bring as much attention to this case as humanly possible. Ed might be joining us in the Joy Virtual Studio in just a couple minutes. Not confirmed though. So he might have some updates for us. If not, no big deal. We can try to bring him in tomorrow. I do want to thank one of our amazing sponsors. You guys hear me talking about the complete protein from Native Path. The website is it's nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. That's nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. We use the protein every single day. My kids are athletes. They're always looking for more ways to get protein into their diet. The Native Path protein is 100% grass-fed. It is beef protein, so no whey, no soy, no plant-based situations here with Native Path. Only the cleanest, best ingredients. This helps you rebuild strength. It helps their muscles recover and their bodies recover from strenuous workouts. Also supports a fast metabolism, and there is no bloat. So this is a big one. The ingredients are so clean, so perfect that you can get the full 20 grams of clean protein for only 110 calories per serving, and it's absolutely delicious. It is delicious. So it is 41% off right now. Chunky Monkey is my favorite recipe to use the complete protein chocolate. So I'm going to be giving that to you guys tomorrow. And yeah, we love the Chunky Monkey. It's delicious. And we use that with the protein every day. It's 0 sugar, dairy free, no soy, no gluten, and 41% off for a limited time just for the Joy audience. Native Path gives us the best deals in the country. No other hosts get these deals. These are the most amazing deals, 41% off. It's a limited time. You can stock up on this clean protein at nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. Get it today before the deal ends. All right. So Buskman says in all caps, give us a full report, Shannon. What do you want a full report on, Buskman? You have to be a little bit more detailed. I did see a question here. Did Shannon ever... Shannon, do you think any of the girls now or the women will speak out since this betrayal by our government? What words would you give to them? Well, no. I mean, when the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, one of the most powerful men on the planet, okay, very clearly indicates that the power of the presidency, the United States government, the intelligence agencies, the law enforcement agencies, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, when they indicate publicly to the American people that they are going to cover up and protect the predators, that is a terrifying, terrifying moment for any of the victims, especially victims who have damning evidence, victims who have been abused by powerful people. Their lives are in danger. And that's why many of them are in hiding. And so this is a devastation. This is absolutely devastating. This is horrifying. And that's why we have to push back against it. I would say, Buskman, words to those women is to never be afraid, never be fearful, and continue to speak out, because there are many of us who will continue to stand up for you. This is wrong. This is evil. This is wicked. And this government is covering it up. Emerald Robinson had this to say about the crumbling. I do believe, guys, we are 10 years in. And for the first time, I believe that we might be at the end of the Donald Trump MAGA psyop, the sophisticated psychological operation that created the cult of MAGA based on fear conditioning and repetition. And I have a feeling none of these things ever work forever, right? People do wake up. And I have a feeling that the Donald Trump psyop has run its course, and that people are beginning to wake up and the scales are falling from their eyes. And this is what Emerald Robinson had to say about that. By the way, I'm loving collaborating with Emerald. Been trying to get her on my show. We are going to have her on my show, but she pushed this out on Twitter. I've been warning people, she said, for a long time that the MAGA influencers were headed for a nasty fall. And that's exactly what happened. You cannot be a journalist. You can be a journalist, or you can be a sycophant or propagandist who gets paid to post stupid stuff, but you cannot be both. She also posted this out. You believed that Americans' intelligence agencies answer to the president, but now, from what we've seen in the Oval Office and what we have seen play out over the past 24 to 48 hours, it is very clear that the president answers to the intelligence agencies. Now, many people will direct this to Israel and the Mossad. I am unclear, actually, which tail is wagging the dog, right? I think that US intelligence is very powerful. Israeli intelligence is very powerful. British intelligence is very powerful. Some people like to elevate one over the other as being like the baddest on the street. I think they all work together and in many ways, but I think they also all compete. So I don't know, okay? They make their plans in secret meetings, in secret rooms, and we're not privy to it. All we have is discernible policy outcome and what we can observe. And so that's why, in terms of delving into conspiracy, I don't really do it very often. I did see a question. I mean, first and foremost, I absolutely believe that conspiracies exist. In fact, I think that conspiracies are prevalent. I think that conspiracies very often are what run, what we see in culture and in politics. I mean, 5,000 years of human history, everything interesting that's ever happened on the face of the planet was the result of a conspiracy. Okay, the Pharisees conspired with the Romans and Judas to betray Jesus Christ. Et tu, Brute, right? In Caesar, it was Brutus and the Roman senators that conspired against Caesar. The American revolutionaries, those who sparked the Revolutionary War and threw off the shackles of the British monarchy, conspired here in the United States of America to fight for their liberty and freedom. There are good conspiracies, there are bad conspiracies, but they exist, right? The reason I don't delve too deeply into a lot of them is because there isn't good information and there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. You have to be very careful for them, about them. And so that's why I think we should all acknowledge that they exist and think that most everything that we are witnessing is the result of some kind of conspiracy. Yeah, M. Garth Hilton. Conspiracies are normal. We are conspiring right now to save the republic. Absolutely. Well, they're usually secret, though. And so that's what makes it difficult in terms of the power centers, right? The global financiers, the global banks, the oligarchs, the tech magnates, the politicians, the global families. There are very, very wealthy families that have enormous amount of power, multiple corporations, subsidiaries, trusts, NGOs. It is so complicated, right? So it's very difficult to go in and say, this is the story. No one can really say that, and I wouldn't have the hubris to say that. But you can see it, though. You can see it, and that's why I don't go into the 9/11 conspiracy a whole lot. I will say this, and that was one of the questions: have I gone in, deeply into what happened on 9/11? Was it an inside job? Was it intelligence in order to get us into another global military conflict, and also pass the Patriot Act, which was one of the worst liberty-crushing measures that we've ever seen in this country. Nothing has been pulled back, by the way, with that. And the answer is, I don't really know. I'm not an expert, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, if they took the buildings down and it was meant to, and we saw the carnage. Okay, so it did happen. But if it was an inside job or perpetrated by nefarious actors, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. And we just have to wait and see, if that is ever going to come out. But I don't know that we'll ever get the truth on a lot of these conspiracies. And we're seeing this play out now with the Epstein scandals. And by the way, those who conspire love for us to go down rabbit holes in conspiracies, right? They want us guessing and, following QAnon and diving deep and thinking that we have the answers to all of this. And a lot of times they'll send you down false trails, which I've been sent down before, right? So you got to be really careful with it. But at the end of the day, I really don't care if you have a conspiracy. We will know them by their fruits. At the end of the day, we will see the letters on the page. We will see the bills. We'll see the executive actions. We will see the lockdown orders. We will see the coerced vaccination. We will see they will take off their masks. They always do. They have to. They have to, in order to further their whatever it is that they're conspiring for. So that's my philosophy on conspiracies, right? I'm sure they're out there. I know they're out there. However, there's enough happening right in front of our faces right now that is outrageous that we can talk about and we can alert people to, rather than going back into time and doing the deep dive and relying on another historian's perspective or portrayal of certain events. Like right now, okay, I lived through COVID lockdown. I saw with my own eyes what happened. Right now, I am flying out to Salt Lake City, Utah to stand with a man who's being faced with 35 years in prison, persecuted by this government for protecting his patients. Okay, these are things that we can see with our own eyes that are happening right now. So I would say, though I love history, and I know a lot of you love history, we have enough to deal with and enough to talk about right now in real time that we can see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears, so that we can test it against propaganda. Oh my gosh, Mandalay Bay? That was insane. That was insane. And I see a lot of you on the live chat will be like, well, Shannon is you'll think that I'm like a change agent or something because I don't report on this thing or that thing, like the most important conspiracy that you think is the most important. And I can tell you, it's not that. There are so many conspiracies out there. There is not enough time in the day for me to go in and actually do due diligence on all of them and come up with a perspective. Every so often I will. I mean, I witnessed the Tate thing. The Tate thing is one of the craziest stories I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Like the cover up, all of the conservative Christian evangelicals and Republicans who are covering for self-admitted pimps, pornographers, and rapists, okay? And with hundreds of hours of video evidence that is right in front of our face and happening in real time, is the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. It's like, okay, I get the Epstein thing, but this is happening right in front of our faces and we can report on it right now in real time. So yeah, that's just the way I feel about that. Be my Valentine. Shannon, thank you so much for making this case known. I have supported many people in court with civil asset forfeiture of their animals. Well, you're absolutely welcome. Rothen Walker is with us on the live chat. Great to see you, Rothen Walker. Cliff at Goodland LLC. So many new faces on the Rumble live chat. I love to see that. Who do we have here? Strident Conservative. Great to see you, David Leach, on the live chat. Nautical. I like this comment. The Trump administration and Congress are the entertainment arm of the DOD. Lots of entertainment, lots of distractions, always the fake fighting and the D versus R. Absolutely. I would agree with that. Is there anyone here on the live chat, whether it's on Facebook or like, right, where are we live right now? The list. Okay, we're live on Rumble. And thank you to our friends at Rumble Studio. It's the flagship studio for the Shannon Joy Show. So we so appreciate Rumble. And they help us out every once in a while with promotion. And it's just really, really wonderful. And I'm very thankful for them. As you guys know, small operation here at the Shannon Joy Show. And we could always use that help. So we are live on Rumble. We are live on Twitter via X American News. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Substack, and obviously Spreely TV, which is Roku and Apple TV. So we're so thankful for all of those great platforms, and you guys can comment. So if there's anyone on any of those platforms that you have a comment, you want Annie to look for it, go ahead and post those up. We'll see if Annie can see them, and I'll read them. Anyone who disagrees with me, if you guys think I'm off my rocker, if I'm a total dunderhead, moron, loser, who doesn't know what she's talking about, I would love to answer you. I mean, if there's anyone who disagrees with kind of the big 40,000 foot vantage point picture that I've kind of painted for you today about where I think we are in the political landscape here in the country, I'd love to hear from you guys. James Corbett. Yes, Lou Melcom on the live chat, another brand new chatter. It's so great to see you, Lou. Thank you. James Corbett for 9/11 info. I've heard that many times. I think that James Corbett is a stellar reporter. Lots of good outlets out there. M. Sean 57. This is great. Another new name on the Rumble live chat. Money is being used on these podcasts. The evangelicals and Jews are playing pro. All the pedos are changing the campaign slogans that propelled him to presidency. Little cryptic, M. Sean. Not really sure where you're going with that. Can't read your mind. But if you want to elaborate, feel free to do so, and I'll read that as well. Mav 2022 is with us. Ooh, M. Garth Hilton, great to see you. In all caps, thank you very much. We must fight the war in front of us and on the horizon, not the battles we have already lost, like 9/11. We waste too much time on the battles we have lost. Learn from it, but with forward motion always. That's right, M. Garth Hilton. Bottom up resistance, localization, right? The way to battle globalization is through localization, because in order for them to achieve global agendas, they need to deploy them locally, or it doesn't matter. The globalists can have all the plans in the world. They can have all the blueprints and all the agendas, but if they can't get them implemented granularly at the local level using your locally elected officials and local community organizations and people, your neighbors, your friends, your families at that local level, then none of it matters. Okay. So that's where we have the opportunity to create a diffused and decentralized movement of Americans, enough, maybe 5 to 10% of us who are awake, who know our Constitution, understand our history, and know how to organize and activate from that local level. No parties, not Democrat, not Republican. That is a trap. They want us to go through their agenda, or they want us to go through their rules, and they want us to play their game where they make all the rules. And so people, oh my gosh, they hit a brick wall every single time. Well, we got to use the two political parties. Got to go between the two political parties. You got to, you got to wait. Okay. No. Right. Trump's outrageous statement saying, screw all of you. How dare you ask me about Epstein? Why are we still talking about this? Okay. That is precisely why you do not trust the plan or be patient. Okay. Be patient. Trust the plan, give them time. That is a strategy to get you to sit down and shut up and not demand discernible policy outcomes. And it works every single time, because everyone's been waiting for those Epstein binders, for the truth. And here it is, the door is slammed in your face, and now it's over. Same with the JFK files, same with everything. Great comment, M. Garth Hilton. Mark the Reagan, how many of you believe the Warren Commission on JFK? Probably not. I mean, oh, honor seeker thinker. Thank you. You are not a dunderhead, Shannon. Well, I've been called it before. I usually get settle down, Shannon, settle down, or do better, right? So funny. Ooh, Bill Benz is with us on the live chat. Let's see if we have any other new names. Diog99, great to see you. Of course, we have, don't frag me, bro. Cliff at Goodland LLC. Great to see you, Cliff. You're brand new on the live chat. DG8 has this to say. Shannon, the Trump psyop is about neutering people who would normally stand against tyranny to blindly trust government and blindly trust the plan. Amazing day if they abandon the cult. DG8, I will tell you, nothing is ever forever. People who think that the Trump MAGA cult is going to persist forever are absolutely wrong. There is always an end. And so I have a feeling that we are at the end of that mass formation psyop. I just have a feeling. Mark the Reagan, how many of you believe the CDC on COVID? Come on. This is one that is like right in the rearview mirror of history. We all lived it. It was a disaster, right? We could do all of the conspiracies in the world on just what happened on COVID floors during the dark days of lockdown 2020 and beyond. I mean, there were so many atrocities committed, and there are still being committed today, right? Ed Dowd had this to say. March 2022 interview, informative to say the least. This was from Melinda Gates on Bill Gates, and she divorced Bill Gates, she said, because he wouldn't stop going to visit and hang out with Jeffrey Epstein. And Edward Dowd had this to say. It's like we are all watching the reality version, like in real time, of Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut in these last 5 years. And I don't disagree. Highly recommend people take a look at Eyes Wide Shut. Very, very interesting movie. Okay. But then we have Megyn Kelly, who came out, and Chief Nerd posted out a video of Megyn Kelly, and she had some girl on, to analyze the Bondi betrayal, the Epstein betrayal. And so according to Megyn Kelly, it's a Bondi issue, but she trusts Dan Bongino. This is the quote from Megyn Kelly. I trust Dan Bongino, and I trust him not to actively mislead me or you. However, bad girl Pam Bondi has definitely made multiple inconsistent statements. And I'm sorry, but she does not deserve the benefit of my good opinion. And I'm not prepared to give it to her. So Trump is okay. Dan Bongino is okay, but Pam Bondi is the bad girl. You can see the narrative shaping, right? It's not Trump, it's Pam. It's not Dan Bongino, it's good old Pam. Okay. Now, this is outrageous. Megyn Kelly is an attorney. She considers herself, I'm sure, to be a journalist. Saying the words, I trust a politician, I trust any politician, I trust this government official or that government official, I trust Dan Bongino. These are not the words of a journalist or a researcher or even a good faith pundit, right? Or influencer. These are the words of a propagandist. These are the words of a person who is likely in some way being compensated to say things to her audience to deceive them about what has actually happened, right? The words, I trust a Democrat, I trust a Republican, are insane. I would never say those words. You would never hear me say, I trust this or that politician. Anyone who is connected to the federal government, the DC power structure, and the political parties should never be trusted. You have failed politics 101, Megyn Kelly. You failed. You get enough. Okay. That is naive. It is a ridiculous statement, but this is what we are treated to. This is the deception that we, the people, are treated to on a daily basis by people that many of you trust. It's time that we stop trusting all of these people out there and test against discernible policy outcome. Mark the Regan. I trust Dan Bongino slightly more than Bill Clinton. Okay. Yeah. Not happening. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. Thank you, Nostradamus, for your kind words. Thank you, Mark the Regan. Be my Valentine. Pam is the fall girl. Poor Pam. Yep, she's going down, but I think Trump is going down too. I think the writing's on the wall for Trump and MAGA. Prepare for J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk to be the faces of the new political parties or the new political paradigm. Whether they'll still be called Republican and Democrat, I have no idea. But it is the technocracy. These are the technocrats, and they have your data. We'll be following all of that here on the Shannon Joy Show. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Colonial Metals Group, of course, Native Path Complete Protein. Thank you to Don Polano of PCM & Associates and the folks over at the Satellite Phone Store, sat123.com/joy, for all of your prepper needs. Of course, Inez Annie Cyrus, who produced the show today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.